got a 2-minute time when you can introduce yourself to everyone.
All right. Well, hello. My name is Siotha Vest, and I am running for McKinney City Council, District 4, which is northwest Stonebridge Ranch. I chose to run because about a year ago, fire station number 3 saved my life. I thought I was having a heart attack. With some prior illnesses that I've had, heart condition can be a possibility, but it was not. My stomach had ruptured, and they saved my life that night because Baylor turned me away. Baylor said, we do not have the facilities to care for you at this time, and they asked me, the person who's going septic, where would you like to go? And I said, excuse me, we don't have enough health care at McKinney to take care of somebody overnight like this. So I realized in the recovery period that I missed all the volunteering that I had. And there's a lot that McKinney needs to grow and be a thriving community so that our children and our grandchildren can actually afford to live here when we're done. So as I'm running for city council, I really want to make sure that we bridge the gap with the millennials, get them more engaged online, which is something I already do. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have the time to research everything, not the brightest bulb in the tree. However, I have no problem calling up people who say, oh, I'm an expert in forensics and budgets, or I'm an expert in microeconomics, macroeconomics, and economic fraud, or whatever it may be that I've met along the way. And I do enjoy talking with everybody, getting their input, and then being able to put a solid, weighted decision between what my voice will be when I represent the community. Because I cannot just be a rubber stamper. I want to make sure that everybody has had a chance to have a participation, and a lot of the stuff that we're doing in the council is related to planning and development, which is not my expertise, but I will work on that as I grow in the position.
We'll have a series of 3 questions here, and you have 1.5 minutes for
Okay.
each one. What are the 3 most important functions of city government? Rate them in priority and support your choices.
3 most important functions of city government. Okay, well, McKinney is run by the city manager, and as city council member, I think the first important issue is actually being represented by the citizens, okay? Actually going out into the districts and understanding what those districts want. District 1 has different needs than District 4. District 4 has different wants and needs than, say, District 2, when we're pretty much neighbors. We need to make sure that everyone is representative and has a voice, and it's not just developers, and it's not just those who are real estate agents that have the time for it, and I'd like to see some more diversity on our board. The second thing I would like to see is our infrastructure and our traffic actually be looked at, because I have growing concerns about the way that the city has been planned over the years, that we have left out some opportunities for future growth that we're going to need. Otherwise, we're going to be widening streets unexpectedly and losing those lush boulevards that we enjoy. The third thing that I would like to do is really nail down this budget. The budget needs to be reviewed, and Paul Grimes needs to get it under control.
Okay. Should election dates be standardized? And what they mean by that is March for the primaries and all the other elections, including city elections, in November.
I think that as we start having a generation who are more educated, they're seeing politics thrown in their face through social media, through family, from all different walks of life. If we were to standardize it, we would ensure more people came out on time, because they wouldn't just move from city or state. They would know that in October, I need to vote. And that apathy that we have in this election is going to still be there. 1,000 people will vote in my district, if we're lucky. And that's just how it is. But if it were in the general election time frame, gives me more time to run. It also gives us time to make sure everyone knows what's on the ballot. And if SB2 runs or SB2 wins, then we'll always be voting on the tax increase if we don't get the budget down to an effective tax rate.
Okay. If you are elected, what would need to be accomplished in order for your term to be considered a success?
I would really like this budget to be prepared for the potential of a recession. Now, I know that sounds pretty negative, but an effective tax rate would be ideal. So being at effective tax rate. So being fiscally responsible enough and adaptive enough. But I don't know if I'm able to do that without the help of citizens who know more about budgets than I do. I think that and some economic factors like the appraisals that have been, inflating, and yet we're seeing more money, but yet all of a sudden we're spending more money. Is that ratio still really proportionate, or do we need to buckle down and make sure that we're ready for the potential economic changes that come up in the next 10 to 15 years? The third thing I think we need to have is even more job diversity, which means that it's great we're bringing in the small businesses. I appreciate small businesses. I have a small business. However, 10 to 15 to $20 an hour jobs does not buy houses in McKinney, Texas. You can't afford to keep your staff at, say, for example, Kroger, because they can't get there. It's too expensive. You have to go up the toll road. They got to pay, for their apartment. It's the same as a house note now. So I think we need to be really looking at the job diversity, and if we can include that into our, in the next 5 years, I think it'll be a successful term.
Okay. You have 1 minute to wrap up, and then we'll later on have a lightning round of yes or no questions.
Okay. Well, I'm Siotha Vest. Most people see me as a fighter. I know it doesn't sound like the normal person that I don't, as a stay-at-home mom, you're like, well, what kind of leadership skills does she have? Well, after I did the Dallas Morning News, I tallied up my years of service in Girl Scouts and the difference between leading girls, up to 5 troops a year, hundreds of girls in events, and educating adults that have different phases and stages in life and all types of backgrounds, and uniting them to ensure that the children had skills. We're not talking feminist skills. We're not talking telling them how to believe in political or religious reviews. We're literally talking leadership skills. Teach the leaders to lead the children. And so while it doesn't look like much when I stand up here and speak, but if you were to look at that community and the leadership program that it is, that's why I think that I could step into this role and adapt and communicate well. Siotha Vest, District 4.